London. A city of royalty, innovation, and shadows. Founded almost 2,000 years ago, it's safe to say that it's had its fair share of eerie and macabre history. Beneath the charm of Big Ben and the beauty of Tower Bridge lies a city with an extremely chilling past. Today, we dive into the dark history of London. We begin our journey in the Tower of London. For nearly 1,000 years, the Tower of London has stood as a fortress, palace, and prison, but its history is filled with plenty of brutality and despair. It is estimated that 125 people have been executed right here on Tower Hill. Some were serious criminals, others were traitors to the crown, but it's the royalty executed here that truly stands out. Famously, in 1536, Anne Boleyn was accused of treason and adultery by her own husband, King Henry VIII. In reality, she simply couldn't provide him with a child. That and divorce wasn't permitted by the church, and so, off with her head, I suppose. This execution marked a turning point in Tudor history. The controversy doesn't stop there. Centuries earlier, 12-year-old Edward V and his brother, 9-year-old Richard, were confined within these very walls. They were the rightful heirs to the throne, and were placed in the tower for their own protection as a political storm around them raged. They played, they laughed, and then one day, they vanished. Their uncle, Richard III, took the throne and the boys were never seen again. Centuries later, workmen unearthed 2 small skeletons beneath a staircase. Were they the lost princes? The mystery lingers, but Richard III was well known for his paranoia and ruthless desire for the throne. It wouldn't surprise us if he'd had them removed. The next stop on our tour visits the Great Fire of London. It was a warm September night in 1666 when a spark in Thomas Farriner's bakery turned into an inferno. The flames, fanned by a strong east wind, leapt from house to house, turning the wooden buildings into tinderboxes. As panic spread through the city, the streets became choked with people fleeing for their lives, while others tried to desperately save their homes with buckets of water from the River Thames. Samuel Pepys, a government official and a keen observer, documented the chaos. He described rivers of molten lead pouring from the rooftops, the roar of the flames, and the screams of the terrified. In his desperation to save his belongings, Pepys buried his wine and cheese in his garden, a small act of defiance against the destruction, and a true love for cheese and wine that remains unmatched to this very day. The fire burned for 5 days, and by the time it was contained, 80% of the city lay in ruins. 13,000 houses destroyed, and even the iconic St. Paul's Cathedral was reduced to rubble, its great stone walls no match for the relentless flames. The fire's devastation was a stark reminder of the dangers of a crowded city built mostly of wood and thatch. In the aftermath, the fire also revealed the city's deep social divides. Wealthy landowners quickly rebuilt their properties, while the poor, left homeless and destitute, were pushed further to the margins. New building regulations emerged, mandating the use of brick and stone, and London rose again, stronger and more fire-resistant than ever before. But for many, the scars of that infernal week would never fully heal. Now taking a little time for terror, we travel to December 1811. The narrow gaslit streets of Ratcliffe Highway were already a breeding ground for crime, but no one could have imagined the horror that would descend on the Marr family one winter night. Timothy Marr, a simple shopkeeper, had closed up for the evening. His wife, Celia, cradled their baby while their apprentice finished cleaning the shop. Without warning, intruders broke in, armed with a maul and chisel. The attack was swift and brutal. By the time neighbors arrived, the scene was one of unimaginable carnage, a baby's cries silenced, and blood pooling on the floor. Money left in the till from the week of trade indicated that robbery wasn't the motive of this heinous crime. Barely 2 weeks later, and just half a mile down the road, the Williamson family met the same fate. In their tavern, the King's Arms, the elderly innkeeper and his wife were savagely murdered alongside a servant. Fear gripped the East End, and rumors of a monster on the loose spread like wildfire. People barricaded their doors and armed themselves against an unknown killer. Using inconsistent evidence and a lack of other information, authorities arrested John Williams, a sailor with a violent past and mild connections to the victims. But before he could stand trial, Williams was found hanged in his cell. Some claimed he had taken his own life, while others whispered that he was silenced to prevent further investigation. His death left the case unresolved, and Londoners were left to grapple with the chilling realization justice would never truly be served. Finally, we take a further jump back through time to the year 1305. William Wallace, Scotland's fiery leader we may better know as Braveheart, stands as a symbol of resistance against England's domination. Captured and chained, he is paraded through the streets of London, his body battered but his spirit unyielding. Crowds gather, jeering and spitting, as Wallace is dragged to his final destination, Smithfield. At the heart of Smithfield, the execution begins. Stripped and bound to a wooden frame, Wallace is subjected to the most gruesome punishment imaginable. He is hanged until barely alive, his body stretched and torn apart, and his organs removed, all while he remains conscious. The executioners do their work slowly, ensuring maximum pain and humiliation. Finally, his head is severed and placed on a pike, while his quartered body is sent to the corners of England as a warning to others. This public spectacle was designed not just to kill, but to break the will of those who opposed King Edward I. Yet, Wallace's execution had the opposite effect. His brutal death cemented him as a martyr for Scottish independence. Today, Smithfield is a bustling market, but beneath its cobblestones lies the memory of blood, defiance, and a fight for freedom that could not be extinguished. London isn't just a city of lights, it's a city of shadows. Its streets whisper stories of tragedy, mystery, and fear. These stories remind us that behind every landmark, there are untold tales of human resilience, ambition, and sometimes darkness. Yet, these trials have shaped the city we know today, making it a place where the past and present collide in hauntingly beautiful ways. What other secrets lie buried beneath the ancient streets? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. And as always, keep questioning the past to understand the present. See you in the next rewind.